Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video we are going to study about the Coulomb's law. In previous lecture we have already discussed about the electric charge, what is charge, what are the properties of electric charge, that all we have studied. So in this video we are going to study about the Coulomb's law. Why we are studying Coulomb's law means using the Coulomb's law we can find the force between the two charges, force between the 2-point charges. So now let's start. Coulomb's law means interaction of the charges, how the charges are means if the two charges are attracting or if two charges are showing the repulsive force, then how much amount of the force is present between those two charges, that we are going to calculate with the help of the Coulomb's law. So first we will take one charge, we will take one plus charge Q1, and here we will take one plus charge Q2. Here we are taking two charges. You can take any type of charges, positive or negative. Here I have taken one positive charge Q1 and here one positive charge Q2. So now this charge we will call it as the first charge and this charge we will call it as the second charge, and both the charges are kept at a distance of r, means distance of separation between the two charges is r. Next, after that, if the two charges are positive, means they are showing some repulsive force. This is repelling this charge and this charge is repelling this charge. So now we are having the force in this direction. This force is called as force on the first charge because of the second charge, and here one force is there. Here this force we will write it as force on the second charge because of the first charge. We will write it as F21, and this force we will write it as F12, means force on the first charge because of the second charge. So this is F12 and this is F21, and both the forces, how they are acting? They are acting along the line joining the center of two charges, means along this line only this force will be acting. We cannot represent force like this or we cannot represent force like this. Force is always acting in which direction? Line joining the center of the two charges. So always the electrostatic force acts along the line joining center of two charges. So this is F12 and this is F21. These are the two forces, and next this is the R, distance of separation between two charges, and this distance can be written in two form. So one, we can travel from first charge to second charge, or else we can travel from second charge to first charge. In both the cases the distance will be same but the representation is different. So here this distance we can represent it as vector R2 minus R1. Suppose if you consider this point as R1 and this point as R2, when we are traveling from first charge to second charge, this distance will, how we will take, means final minus initial. So R2 minus R1 we will write for this vector, and for this vector what we will write? For this vector we will take for final minus initial, that is R1 minus R2. Now this much okay. Next, after that, Coulomb's law says that the force is directly proportional to product of two charges, product of the magnitude of two charges. This charge and this charge, when you multiply, this will be always directly proportional to the force. Means if you increase the magnitude of the charge Q1, Q2, if you increase the magnitude, means their values are increased, then what happens means force also increases. So this is Coulomb's law says that force is directly proportional to product of the magnitude of two charges. Here we are not considering the sign, here we are considering only the magnitude. So here no need to represent with the sign. So force is directly proportional to Q1, Q2, and this force is inversely proportional to square of the distance between the two charges. R is what? Distance between the two charges. So this force is always inversely proportional. Inversely proportional means as the distance increases, force decreases. As distance increases, force decreases. Means here if the distance, suppose if you consider these two charges are placed at 1 meter distance, if you make it double, 1 meter to 2 meter, if you make it double, then what happens to force? What happens to force means here the distance has increased, no, distance has doubled, then the force will be decreases by 4 times. 4 times the force will be decreasing. So this is says that force is inversely proportional to r square. Next, after that, this force depends on the medium. Depends on what? Depends on medium. Depends on medium means what? Means the two charges are placed in which medium, force is depending on that medium. For example, suppose if these two charges are now placed in air, at how much distance? At r distance, then the force will be maximum. Suppose now if the same two charges you place in the water medium at same distance, r distance will be same, magnitude of charges will be same, but what we are changing means we are changing the medium. Here air medium is there, here in place of this if you place the water medium, then what we observed means the force has been decreased. Again when you place here mica, then again we have seen that the force has been changed. Again here in place of this water, if you place any oil medium, then again force has been changed. So by this we can conclude that this electrostatic force is dependent on the medium in which the charges are placed. So force depends on the medium. Next, the Coulomb's law can be written as F is directly proportional to Q1 Q2 divided by r square, or else this can be written as F is equals to K Q1 Q2 divided by r square. K Q1 Q2 divided by r square. Now what is this K? K is called as Coulomb's constant. K is called as the Coulomb's constant or else proportionality constant. And this constant is not a universal constant. This constant is changing with respect to medium. So this K value we can write it as K is equals to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon. Epsilon means permittivity of the medium. Epsilon is called as the permittivity of the medium. Here naught means it is the permittivity for the free space. Now detail about this permittivity we will study in the next lecture, means how the permittivity is dependent and how the force is changing with respect to permittivity, what is relative permittivity, absolute permittivity, all those concepts we will learn in the next video. Now here K is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon, and this value will write it as 9 into 10 to the power of 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. So this is the value of the K for air or the vacuum or free space. So this value is for free space, vacuum or air. For different medium this value will be different. Next, this epsilon means permittivity value for air. Epsilon is equals to 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12 Coulomb square per Newton meter square. This value is also for the air, free space or the vacuum. For different medium this value will be different. So this is all about the K, proportionality constant or else Coulomb's constant. So this value is dependent on the medium in which the charges are placed. So next, after that, see the relation, this epsilon and this force. So F is inversely proportional to epsilon, means when the permittivity of the medium increases then force will be decreasing. If the epsilon permittivity decreases then what happens to force? Force will be increasing. This is the smallest value, and this value is for the air, means this value is for air, means when the two charges are placed in air medium then we will get the maximum force. If you change any other medium then in that case the force will be less as compared to the air medium. So this is all about the Coulomb's constant. And next, after that, this Coulomb's law we will write in the vector form. Now we will take Coulomb's law in vector form, because force is a which type of property? Force is a vector quantity. So here we will write Coulomb's law in vector form. First we will write F is equals to K Q1 Q2 divided by R square. Now this force, we are having two types. One is the F12 and another one is the F21. Here two forces are there. So first we will write the force for this one, F12. So here we will take F12. For F12, which vector we will take? So we will write here vector F12 is equals to K Q1 Q2, and this distance, which vector we can take? We will take R12 or R2 minus R1 or R1 minus R2. So our answer is, this is in this direction and this is also in the same direction. These two are in same direction, means we will take this vector. So this vector is what? R1 minus R2 whole square multiplied by R cap. So R1 minus R2 vector cap. Now A cap, unit vector. A unit vector can be written as vector A divided by mod of A, means magnitude of A. So in this way we can write. So this vector, this unit vector can be written as F12 is equals to this K Q1 Q2 divided by this R1 minus R2 whole square multiplied by this value, means vector A divided by mod of A. So this value can be written as vector R1 minus vector R2 divided by mod of R1 minus R2. Now this is this value and this value both are same, so we can take it as R1 minus R2 cube. So this value can be written as K Q1 Q2 divided by R1 minus R2 cube, here R1 minus R2. So this is the vector form of the Coulomb's law for the first charge. Now we will write for the same for the second charge, that is F21. So F21 is equals to K Q1 Q2. Here which distance we can take? F21, no, this is in this direction and this is also in the same direction, means we will take this vector R2 minus R1. So here in place of R1 minus R2 we will take it as R2 minus R1. So here R2 minus R1 whole cube multiplied by R2 minus R1 vector. So these are the vector form of the Coulomb's law. By using the scalar form we can calculate the magnitude, but if you want the direction then you can use the vector form of the Coulomb's law. So this is all about the Coulomb's law. Next, after that we will see some basic differences between the electrostatic force and the gravitational force. So this electrostatic force can be written as F is equals to K Q1 Q2 upon R square, and the gravitational force can be written as G M1 M2 upon R square. See the differences here, both the forces, this is the electrostatic force and this is the gravitational force. Both the forces obeys the inverse square law. Here also F is inversely proportional to R square. Here also F is inversely proportional to R square. Means both electrostatic force and gravitational force obeys inverse square law. And next after that, here is what? This is called as the Coulomb's constant and this is called as the gravitational constant. This gravitational constant we will call it as universal constant. Universal constant. Universal constant means it will not change with respect to medium. In all medium or at any space in the universe, this G value will be constant. But this K is dependent on medium. So this K depends on medium. So this is the sum of the differences and similarities, and this electrostatic force shows both the forces, attractive force as well as repulsive force, but this gravitational force shows only attractive force. There is no repulsive force in the gravitational force. So these are some of the similarities and differences between the electrostatic force and the gravitational force. So next, after that, we'll learn some limitations of the Coulomb's law. We are having some limitations of Coulomb's law that we'll take here. Limitations of Coulomb's law. We'll write here only. Limitations of Coulomb's law. So first limitation is not applicable for extended charges, not applicable for extended charges. Means this law is applicable only for point charges, not applicable for the extended charges. Means now what are point charges means? Suppose if you consider this much big ball, on this big ball the charges are distributed. Now we can call this as a point charge, or else we can take very small ball, and on this ball the charges are distributed. This small ball we will call it as the point charge, or the big ball we will call it as the point charge. So our answer is both are point charges. Why? Means these two charge, if you take this big ball and place at a very large distance, then these two charges are called as the point charge. So now if the same big charges, if you place very nearer, very close to each other, then these two charges are not called as the point charge. Understood? Point charge means always the size of that charge is very small as compared to the distance between those two charges. So this is called as the point charge. So this is Coulomb's law is not applicable for the extended charges, means applicable only for the point charge. Next, after that, one charge is rest. If both charges are at rest, then Coulomb's law is applicable. If one charge is moving and another charge is in motion, then also Coulomb's law is applicable. But if the same charges both are in motion, then we cannot apply the Coulomb's law. So these are some of the limitations of the Coulomb's law. So one point we are missing here. Take one graph. One graph we are missing here, distance, and this is the force. When we take force versus distance graph, then we have getting the graph like this. By this graph we can understand that as distance increases, force is as distance increasing, force decreases. As distance increases, force decreases. Means when you make the distance double, then force 4 times it will decreases. When you make the distance half, then force will be 4 times increasing. So this is the relation between the force and the distance of the separation. Both are inversely proportional. So this is all about the Coulomb's law. In next video we are going to solve some problems based on the Coulomb's law. So stay tuned.